2017 had an insane amount of good new games released. So many that I didn't get to play all the ones I wanted to. Most notable being A Hat in Time. Even before its release, I was really looking forward to this game. I was hyped for A Hat in Time even back during its Kickstarter in, oh my god, 2013? I was a freshman in high school back then. Damn, I feel old now. But despite being really excited for it, I didn't get around to playing it for one very specific reason. Super Mario Odyssey. A Hat in Time was coming out 3 weeks before Odyssey, and to be honest, that's suicide for a game like this. I was going to pick it up with my Christmas money, but Odyssey satisfied my platformer fix so much that I just didn't. Like, Odyssey was so fantastic that I didn't want to play another platformer for months after I finished it. I mean, my god, it was my game of the year last year. But it's been like 9 months since Odyssey came out. I need more 3D platformers in my life. Since it was on sale for $20 on PS4, I figured it was as good a time as any to finally pick it up. 3 days later, I got the Platinum Trophy for it. Can you tell that I really like this game? Hat Kid, this adorable cinnamon roll, wakes up in her spaceship one day and she's almost back home to her home planet. Some mafia guy knocks on her door, breaks a hole in the window, and all the timepieces powering her ship go flying into the planet below. Just try and guess what the plot MacGuffin of this game is. On the planet below, she meets a girl with a mustache named Ahem. Mustache Girl. They bring down the Mafia, and it turns out that the timepieces can be used to rewind time. Mustache Girl wants to use them for justice and crime fighting, but Hat Kid just wants them so she can go back home. Mustache Girl angrily runs off to collect timepieces while Hat Kid does the same. Wait, that brat stole half my money, what the hell? And that's pretty much it story-wise. You don't even see Mustache Girl again until the end of the game. A Hat in Time's story is simple, but it still feels unique. The villain essentially has the same goal as you do, and she's the one that wants to use them for selfless reasons. Even if she basically ends up going about it in an evil way. Meanwhile, Hat Kid is the selfish one that doesn't care about other people's problems. She just wants to find all the plot MacGuffins so she can go home. This is an approach that I really like. It feels refreshing in a weird way. Platformer protagonists are usually individuals who can do no wrong, but Hat Kid is actually kind of bratty, and she would probably kill someone if she meant she got another one of her timepieces. The game doesn't take itself too seriously, though. In fact, the game's dialogue can actually be pretty funny. Like, there was this computer in one of the ship's rooms, you're gonna play a text adventure storing a dog, and every path leads to the dog dying. And the same computer, you can search for stuff on the internet, and if you type in porn on the PC version, you get an achievement called Why? Well, in Chapter 3, you get your soul taken away, and when you finally get it back, the text reads, "You feel relieved, energized, and just the usual amount of empty." Kid, are you okay? The presentation is great too. The art style really reminds me of Wind Waker. It doesn't look quite as good as Wind Waker HD, but Hat in Time looks like a remastered GameCube game, which feels like what they were going for. The music's awesome too. Some of it was even composed by Grant Kirkhope. Yeah, the guy that composed the soundtrack for Banjo-Kazooie, Yooka-Laylee, and Mario plus Rabbids. Needless to say, this soundtrack is catchy as heck. Top it off with some really good voice acting, and you have a presentation that's filled with charm. When it comes to gameplay, can we just talk about how amazing these controls feel first? The game feels so tight and responsive, and it's fun to just wander and jump around aimlessly. If you need something to compare it to, think Super Mario Sunshine, but without FLUDD. That's a compliment, I swear. The jump physics and control of this game feel almost directly inspired by Sunshine. Sunshine's jump physics were super tight and responsive, and arguably the best control in any 3D Mario game. In Hat in Time, you have so much control over yourself that I found myself being able to land on tight spaces with ease. And I just have to reiterate how good the controls feel. They feel so good. You even have a dive move like in Sunshine, you can double jump. This isn't to say the game's a one-to-one or anything. I'm simply using Sunshine as a point of comparison. If you've played both games, I'm sure you know what I mean. The controls feel Mario-esque, with Sunshine being the closest point of reference. To keep the Mario comparisons going, the goal of each level is to find a timepiece. Afterwards, you get booted back out to your ship, which is the hub world of this game. You would think this would feel a bit archaic now that even Mario adopted a more Banjo-Kazooie level structure, but Hat in Time's mission structure still feels fun. Each act feels more like his own level, rather than his own objective. Like in Mafia Town, one act you're chasing this guy through a rainstorm, another you're storming the Mafia base and finding a boss at the end. Speaking of which, this game has some awesome level variety. There was an optional act where Mafia Town gets flooded by lava, you sneak around backstage to movie sets, there's even a freaking horror level. And it's actually kinda scary. Not to say it'll scare kids or anything, it's kind of like the Luigi's Mansion kind of scary. This would be terrifying to a kid, but to an adult, it's spooky, but you'll probably feel tense at worst. I love the idea of a whole level, and its execution is pretty heckin' good, but I was kind of annoyed by how slow paced the level was. I just wanted to go back to jumping around, you know? My favorite act in the game has to be the murder mystery level. You wander around a train finding clues to the probe, while at the same time sneaking around crows that'll damage you if you're spotted. Before the stealth port, crows ask you a bunch of oddly specific questions. What's your uncle's sister's maiden name? What would be your superhero name? What's your favorite combination of letters and numbers? Has to with one exclamation point, you dummy. Speaking of which, what's your social security number? Asking for a friend. Hey guys, I really want to know what's your social security number. Type it in the comments below. Don't do that though, but like if you do, I have like no sympathy for you. Some of these answers actually come up during the stealth portion, and but it's now a culprit. I regret nothing. At the end, you pick who the probe is, and there are 6 different endings depending on who you pick. No choice is wrong. It's this weird level of detail they didn't have to go through, and yet they did it anyway. It's awesome. Unlike Team Fortress 2, your hats in a hat in time actually do things. Throughout the game, you'll find yarn, and if you get enough yarn, you can use them to stitch new hats together. Each hat has its own unique ability, like being able to ground pound or make explosive potions. As you progress through the game, you'll gain new abilities to find more collectibles. The hat I found myself using the most is the sprint hat, which makes you, well, sprint. If you jump while sprinting, it even lets you long jump, at the cost of not being able to double jump. Being able to long jump is cool, but it's honestly not that useful. This game's designed more around being able to double jump. But being able to move faster is great for that speedrunner in me that has yet to awaken. While I did use the sprint hat the most, the best hat in the game by far is Time Stop. It's the only hat that isn't required for anything, but it breaks like any semblance of challenge this game had. A hat in time was pretty easy to begin with, but this thing just makes any optional challenge of the game a complete joke. You can't get it until near the end of the game, but when I was finishing up collecting timepieces and achievements, this thing was my best friend. You can also buy these equipable badges that give you small bonuses, like pulling in pawns, which is this game's currency. You're not getting knocked back from hitting a wall during a dive. The most important badge, which you'll get later, is the hook shot. It's exactly what it sounds like. It lets you grab on at certain points and swing like it's a rope. Just like the rest of your moveset, it feels really good using this thing, and it gets a lot of use after the midway point in the game. But what's strange about the hook shot is that it's a badge. This incredibly useful ability needs to be equipped and uses up one of your limited badge slots. It's not a huge deal later in the game when you have 3 slots, but I don't understand why it's a badge. Why can't this just be a permanent ability? Same with the optional camera badge. Why isn't this just a permanent ability once you find it? For the hook shot at least, I guess it's so that you can unequip it if it gets in the way of the homing attack that you can do. That would be fine, but there isn't a single point in the game where I thought it got in the way. There was no reason why the hookshot and camera can't just be permanent abilities that you can just turn off the menu or something. The way you unlock the hookshot is annoying too. In Chapter 2, you come across a hookshot switch that you can't activate yet because you obviously don't have the hookshot yet. What you have to do is go into Chapter 3 and get about halfway through that chapter, then you can continue on in Chapter 2. This isn't that big of a deal, but it's such a dumb design choice. Why make you leave the chapter and then come back to it? Why not let the player play them how they want to? Sure, we'll let you move on to Chapter 3, but still let you finish up Chapter 2 if you want to. This is the only point in the game that forces you to progress in a certain way, and it feels kinda weird. Not necessarily bad, just could have been done a bit better. The thing I loved most about A Hat in Time was how refreshingly enjoyable it was to 100%. A lot of games nowadays feel like too much of a hassle to play to completion. While I'm not a huge completionist, I still try to 100% in the games that I really like. But lately, even games that I love to death were too much of a pain in the ass to complete. Mario Odyssey felt too daunting, Persona 5 felt too time-consuming, and Gravity Rush 2 felt too tedious. On the surface, only having 40 timepieces to collect makes it seem like the game doesn't have much content. I mean, come on, even Mario 64 had 120 stars to collect. But this is one of A Hat in Time's greatest strengths. Every timepiece felt significant to collect. In order to get one, you essentially play through a level and don't do some small task. Think of Mario Galaxy. Even the optional timepieces follow this. Each chapter has these things called time rifts that you have to find with a picture showing its location. In these time rifts are shorter challenge levels to give you another timepiece at the end. A Hat in Time made completion fun again. By the end of the game, I only had like 8 timepieces left to find. It took me about 10 hours to finish the game, another hour and a half to get the rest of the timepieces, and another 3 hours to get the remaining achievements. Overall, I 100% in the game in about 14 hours and had a blast doing it. Some of the achievements took a bit of doing, but they were actually achievable after a bit of practice. Too many games nowadays have a lot of busy work for extra content. A Hat in Time may have a lot less plot MacGuffins to collect, but by doing so, they all felt meaningful. And honestly, after collecting so many moons, that kind of loses its meaning after a while. Every timepiece I got in A Hat in Time felt satisfying to find, and that's a feeling that I wish more games could capture. But if I had to fault this game, my only real issue with it is how freaking dark some levels can be. Which is what I would have said before editing, but looking at the raw capture, the lighting in these areas are fine. I kept missing this tightrope here because I honestly couldn't see where I was supposed to land. I do keep my TV brightness a little dimmed, so on my TV I could barely see anything. It turns out that my issue wasn't really with the game, just I set my TV a little too dim. I played A Hat in Time on PS4, but if you can, play the PC version. It's pretty easy to run, can be played in 60 FPS, and it has a surprising amount of mods. The console version is still good though. On base PS4, there were a few frame drops here and there, but it mostly plays at 30 FPS. I haven't played the Xbox One version, but it seems to run mostly the same. But at the end of the day, just play whatever you're most comfortable with. Despite a few lighting issues, A Hat in Time was so much fun. This game succeeds in what it set out to do, make a fun 3D platformer. It makes completion a fun thing to do instead of a tedious or time-consuming task. The characters and worlds are incredibly likable, and I really found myself appreciating this game's charm. To top it off, with surprisingly fun and varied level variety, it's all just so good. I loved A Hat in Time so much that I wish I could have used one of these timepieces to go back in time and back at doing his Kickstarter. I had so much damn fun with this game that I sat down and 100%ed it in like 3 days. I haven't been able to do that in years. I know I've been describing this game as fun a lot, but that's just what A Hat in Time is. Fun. This has been that Flame Assassin guy. Wait. This has been Flame Guy, and do yourself a favor. Play the heck out of this game. Take care everyone, and I'll see you all next mission.